The peace Bhishma had bought did not last a generation. Chitrangada, Satyavati's firstborn, fell in battle against a Gandharva and died without a child. So the crown passed to his younger brother Vichitravirya, a boy king on a man's throne, with Bhishma ruling beside him until he came of age. When Vichitravirya reached marrying age, Bhishma went looking for a bride worthy of a king. Word came that the three daughters of the king of Kashi would choose their husbands at a Swayamvara. In the old Kshatriya way, Bhishma mounted his chariot and drove for Kashi, not for himself, but for his brother. Kashi glittered that day. Kings of Kosala and Vanga, Pundra and Kalinga, princes from every direction, dressed like walking treasuries, all crowded into one courtyard for the three sisters whose beauty was discussed in kingdoms they had never seen. Amba, Ambika, Ambalika. Every man there had come to win one. Then Bhishma walked in, and the music seemed to falter. At first, the princes told themselves the old legend had merely come to watch. But when it dawned on them that he stood there as a suitor, resentment ran through the hall like a draught of cold air. The taunts began. Look at the white in his beard. Has the great Bharat forgotten his years? Has he forgotten his famous vow? What business has a sworn celibate at a bride choosing? The princes laughed, and the three princesses glanced once at the old warrior and looked away. That laughter cost them dearly. Bhishma's anger rose, and he challenged every prince in the hall to test his manhood against theirs. What followed was less a battle than a lesson. When it ended, the hall stood humbled, and Bhishma lifted the three princesses into his chariot and turned it toward Hastinpura. One king came after him, Salva of Sobala. For Amba, in the silence of her heart, had already chosen Salva, and he knew it. He caught Bhishma on the road and fought him bitterly. But no bowman alive matched the son of Ganga. Salva was beaten and spared because the princesses begged for his life. Hastinpura dressed itself for a triple wedding. Garlands on the gates, music in the courtyards, the young king waiting for his brides. Bhishma had done everything a guardian could do. Won 3 queens in a single day, without asking a single question. And that was the flaw in it. Before the assembly, Amba stepped forward and gave Bhishma a smile with an edge in it. Son of Ganga, she said, you know the scriptures better than any man here. My heart chose Salva long before your chariot carried me off. Knowing that, do what a man learnt in Dharma must do. Bhishma heard her and admitted she was right. Amba was sent to Salva with a royal escort, free as she wished to be. While inside the palace, her sisters Ambika and Ambalika were wedded to Vichitravirya amid music and lamplight. Amba rode toward the man she loved. Certain her story was ending happily. She came to Salva's court shining with relief. It was always you, she told him. I chose you before the Swayamvara began, and Bhishma himself has sent me to you with honor. Marry me now, as the Sastras allow. And she waited, eyes bright, for the only answer she had imagined. Salva could not look at her without seeing his own defeat. He carried you off before every king in Kashi, he said. I was disgraced in the dust of that road. I cannot take, as charity, what I lost in combat. Go back to Bhishma and do as he commands. And he turned his face away. So Amba returned to Hastinpura, her happiness in ruins. Vichitravirya refused her outright. He would not wed a woman whose heart lived elsewhere. Cornered, she turned to Bhishma himself. You took me from Kashi, she said. Then you marry me. There is no one else left, and Bhishma, who pitied her more than anyone, could not. His vow stood like a mountain between them. He had given his word to the heavens themselves. He pressed Vichitravirya again, and again the young king refused. At last, Bhishma could only counsel her. Go once more to Salva. Persuade him. Pride kept her from Salva's door for years. Years spent as a guest in the palace that had wrecked her life. When desperation finally drove her back to him, his answer had not changed. 6 bitter years, and every road closed. And in that long humiliation, all the sweetness in Amba turned to gall, and the gall to one burning purpose: Bhishma must die. She went from court to court, begging a champion, and the bravest kings found reasons to be busy. No one duels the son of Ganga. So she stopped asking men. Through fierce austerities, she won the grace of six-faced Subramanya, who gave her a garland of lotuses that never fade. Whoever wears it, he said, becomes Bhishma's sworn enemy. Yet, even with the god's gift in her hands, every Kshatriya refused Drupad too. Amba hung the garland on Drupad's palace gate and walked into the forest. Forest ascetics heard her story and pointed her to one man who feared no Kshatriya alive, Parsurma, the warrior sage with the axe. He listened, moved, and offered gently, "Child, if you wish, I will make Salva marry you." "No," said Amba. "I am past wanting husband, home, or happiness. I want one thing on this earth: Bhishma dead." Parsurma took up her cause and called Bhishma to battle. Master against master, the two greatest men-at-arms of the age hammered at each other day after day, and neither could break the other. In the end, it was Parsurma who lowered his weapons. "I have done all I can," he told Amba. "Nothing remains but to seek Bhishma's mercy." Mercy was the one thing she would not ask. With every human door shut, Amba climbed to the Himalayas and burned through austerities so severe that Shiva himself appeared, his boon. In her next birth, she would bring about Bhishma's death. Next birth, she could not wait for death to come at its own pace. Amba built a pyre with her own hands and walked into the fire, carrying her hatred like a lamp. By Shiva's grace, she was reborn, a daughter in King Drupad's house. Finding the deathless garland still on the gate where no one had dared touch it, the child put it on. Her terrified father exiled her to the forest, where austerity transformed her into a male warrior, Shikhandin. Years later, at Kurukshetra, Bhishma would not raise his bow at one born a woman, and behind that living shield stood Arjuna. As the arrows found him, the old hero named them one by one. "This is Arjuna's," he said, "not Shikhandin's." So Amba's fire reached him at last.